Good, happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to the Comic Book Geeks podcast. I am one of your hosts, J.W. Sims, and we are here in this fine Wednesday night. We're going to have some fun. We have a special co-host with us tonight, which I will reveal in a little bit. But let's go ahead and bring the other guys on the show first. First, we have Demon Phil here with us tonight.
Good to be here. What's going on?
All right, and Specs Thompson is also here with us tonight. Let's see. I hit the wrong button, Specs.
No.
There you are. I had to fire John. He made another excuse why he couldn't be on the show this week, so I hired a quick replacement. So we're going to bring on my son, Joshua.
Howdy. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing all right.
Good. We did pretty good.
All right.
Good to hear.
So
Now,
we missed.
Joshua read the books, or is he pretty much like
He's just
John. Pretty much like John.
just
Yeah,
like
he's pretty much like John. He doesn't read the books.
I'd pretty much go like I just read whatever pops into mind. Like, I want to read this, I'll read that.
He's not going to know anything we're talking about. He's going to think this is. I don't even know how he said it. Cholo or something. I don't know. I don't know how he said it. I wore the shirt just for him tonight too, and then. So, but anyways, I hope we didn't have a show last week, and I guess I didn't read many books last week either, did I? Son of a gun. I actually think I have my handy dandy notebook here where I wrote everything down. Or did I? I don't even know what last week's books were. But we can talk about some of last week's books since we weren't on, and then we'll get to this week's books. And I had some news too from last week I want to touch on. One of the things I remember seeing last week that I wanted to talk about was they announced the release date of the Hellraiser reboot show on Hulu. I don't know if you've heard about this, and the trailer, and they've like gender swapped Pinhead. It's a female.
Well, it's the book. It's based directly on the book, so that actually happens in the book. That it's actually gender swapped that way for a reason. So I'm hoping that's what they're going with, and not just doing it just to do it.
Good, Josh.
No, I was saying like it's a 50-50 chance if they were staying in line with the books or if it's just a shoehorn. It's hard to tell nowadays.
I can't think. My brain isn't been working this week, but what's his name? Who actually played the original Pinhead?
Yes.
Is he going to have any like cameo in the show? Anything?
Doug Bradley?
Yeah, Doug Bradley.
I haven't heard of anything, but they've been keeping a lid on this one big time.
Yeah, because even the trailer was like.
Yeah, there are no shots being shown from this anywhere. You can't find them. So that being said,
it comes out on the 7th of October. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
So is it a reboot or a series?
It's a reboot. It's a series. Yeah, I think. Yeah,
it's going to be it's a reboot. It's a movie.
Is it a movie? I didn't know.
It will be on Hulu, but the kicker is you have to pay the extra $10 for the Cinemax or something like that, the add-on thing on there. I can't remember which one it is. But yeah, you have to pay the extra $10 to get it, which I'm kind of like, man, that sucks, but I can't go without it.
So that's different than how Prey was?
Yeah, but you probably, I'm sure if you have like the Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu Plus, that you'll get it.
Nope. No. I have that and it won't work. It automatically told me I had to pay the extra $10.
That's crap.
Like, for me personally, I don't watch most of that's like I watch Hellraiser and whatnot, but I'm not gonna pay for a subscription service that I'm not gonna use, you know.
Well, they moved all the Hellraiser movies over to that platform so that you have to pay for it to watch the Hellraiser movies leading up to it.
Capitalism.
Capitalism at its finest.
Capitalism at its finest. So nanomachines and tax evasion, son.
Why did they do a Hellraiser but not Predator?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too, because they brought all the Predator movies over to Hulu free, and you could watch them as much as you want to with Prey. And this one, they're going, hey, I think that one works so fine. We're just going to charge everybody for everything now.
Yeah, that's great.
Streaming services have become weird lately, like the whole HBO Max thing where they purged a bunch of cartoons. That's crazy. Like,
oh yeah.
we're not even getting into HBO Max right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna raise our fee, and then we're gonna delete everything that anybody watches on here.
Yeah.
Like
at this point, the only thing I watch is Gendy's Primal. Really good show.
What on HBO?
Yeah, it's on HBO Max. It's really good. It's made by the same dude who did Samurai Jack. It's a really good show.
Is that about the caveman?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the caveman.
Yeah. Okay.
But now they're like taking like a whole Conan the Barbarian approach to it, which is really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't had HBO Max for a little while, and I'm kind of missing it right now, especially because of the whole Game of Thrones thing, because I am a huge fan. But I also am very concerned making sure they wouldn't, do it the right way, because the way they ended Game of Thrones, don't even get me started on that one. But we do have Amazon Prime to pull us through this one starting next week with Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
I am
but
the
same thing you just complain about with Game of Thrones, you getting that full force with that series though.
Yeah,
but they're not taking anything with the property.
With Lord of the Rings, I already heard they're using a larger budget than they did for all 3 movies combined.
Whoa.
Yeah, but it's nothing from the books at all. They just pull it off.
Yeah,
no, exactly.
But the Game of Thrones thing is a book,
right?
Like I have that book, and
only to season 5 though. All the rest of it they made it up.
No. This season now is a book.
Oh,
I have that, and I have that book, but it's like reading that part of the Bible when so and so begot so and so. That's literally all it is. Is like saying this person. It's the House of Targaryen. It's like the history of that, and it's like this is the most boring crap. When's the story start?
So is it better? So you have the Fire and Blood book, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, actually, I have all of them, but yeah, that's the newest one.
So what happened? You read the one that it's like split apart. It's like not Fire and Blood, but it's like the other stuff. Because then they combine the 2 books to make Fire and Blood.
I think so, because the one is all like so and so begot so and so. Like goes through the whole family tree of the Targaryens, and I'm like, this is so boring. Like, who wants to know this?
Like, unless you're like a huge lore buff, like you're not gonna have the attention span to watch it.
I'm sure most people, when they're reading the Bible and they get to that part, they skip it. Like, I don't need to know all this.
Like,
now,
it's like,
get me to the zombie Jesus part.
Now, I will say, as far as streaming is concerned, I did watch a movie yesterday or today, one of the days. I can't remember. I got older, so I can't remember things now. But Balboa Productions, that may sound familiar to some people out there. It's their premiere, their first one, coming out. It is Samaritan on Amazon Prime.
I wanted to watch that.
Holy crap, that was good. I'm telling you, it's got the comic book feel to it. It's got everything that it needs in there. I didn't find not one negative to throw into there. And Sylvester Stallone still got it. I mean, he looks like he's still 40 years old, and we all know he's not.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're almost 50, and he was already an adult when we were watching him.
Exactly.
So we know he's a little bit older than 40.
Exactly. But I'm telling you right now, if you haven't seen it, y'all got to watch that. That was phenomenal.
And one of my Facebook friends, he compared it to Meteor Man. You ever watch that?
Meteor Man, yes.
Not quite Meteor Man, no.
Well, didn't you, Josh? It's either you or Joey, when I showed the trailer for it, said that looks like that Will Smith movie.
Hancock.
Hancock. Yeah.
Hancock. Oh, well, that's another good movie.
Yep.
That's a movie.
So I was like, oh, we'll see. And I went to watch it, but I've been busy with kids.
Yep.
Adult kids who get lost when they're supposed to go 2 blocks to get a sub.
Yeah, we were gone for like 3 hours. Dad didn't know where we went. He's just like, "Where did you go?" And we're just
I could have crawled up to
go?
I could have crawled up to the deli and back.
Hey, Matt Quest don't exist no more. You can't.
We're like me and my brother. We're like old people. You can't let us out of your sight because we'll just
wander. That's what they did. They're like, "Oh, we're in a new town. Let's see what's here. We'll go to a bar and get lunch or dinner or something and forget about that."
Yeah. I mean, hey, it was good. Even though it was kind of pricey, it was still good. I have no regrets.
I was looking through some other stuff today, and I saw that it says a new Silent Hill reveal may happen sooner than later, and it is saying that it's been quite some time since we've got Silent Hill Downpour, which is in 2012, and Konami's been like kind of giving hints. And it said they're planning a big return to Silent Hill with multiple new games. One is a remake of Silent Hill 2, another an episodic series, and then there's supposedly a proper new mainline game. So, and
I wonder. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I just wonder how they're going to do that, because with them canceling Silent Hills, like that was a lot of bad blood on Konami's hand.
Yeah, that was with
Like-
Norm Reedus, right?
Yeah, the Redis game. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because that was Kojima was actually supposed to help make that game too, and
Well, yeah,
then
'cause that's
that's
his
when they
thing.
fired him because he didn't even get to finish Metal Gear Solid 7. That game is like unfinished. Even it's a really. I want to see Metal Gear come back really bad, but
Oh, I got some news about that too. So continue.
yeah, like I think I heard that Konami was thinking of selling Metal Gear to like Sony.
Nope.
Like that was like a rumor floating around. I don't know if it's true. Like I don't quote me on that, but I just heard it going around on some forums, and I'm like I'm kind of in the middle about it because Konami hasn't had a good track record with video games lately because they just don't want to make them. They're relying on pachinko machines and whatnot.
Yeah, but they also say Konami. They said we should have a reveal by the end of the year about the Silent Hill stuff, and that they're also talking about remastering the Metal Gear Solid games. So we'll get remastered versions.
I really want to see a remastered, either 3 or Peace Walker.
Yeah, I like 2. 2's my favorite game.
Yep.
I don't care.
Talking about Metal Gear.
Metal Gear, yeah, Metal Gear
Yeah.
Solid 2.
Well, I want them to make a remake of Metal Gear.
Oh, the Nintendo. Excuse me. Speak amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic.
Like I don't care what anybody says. Big Boss is better than Snake. I love Big Boss more than Solid.
What about the one from 5? Phantom.
5? Yeah, that's Venom. That's his like
Phantom.
doppelganger. Actually, like I'm like a nerd when it comes to these games.
You have to get this. Yeah, but you don't have this, Josh. How big of a nerd?
No,
are
I
you?
don't, because I don't have a PS4. I have a PC. I
I have a PS3. See that PS3? And it has
So-
every game on it.
So Venom Snake or Big Boss?
Me?
definitely Big Boss because Venom's just supposed to be like his Phantom. That's why it's like Phantom Pain.
But
It's
he's
like
the
a
first-
double
he's the
entendre.
first- He's the first Big Boss you fight though.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
aren't they all just clones of Big Boss?
Well, Solid, Liquid, Solidus, they're clones, but Venom is a hypnotized dude. Like he's brainwashed.
And so is Gray Fox, right?
Yeah.
Is Big Boss? No, he's not
Gray Fox.
brainwashed. He's
No,
Gray Fox. The
Gray
woman-
Fox. Gray Fox. Oh, that's the cyborg dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's my
that's
o-
from Metal.
There's my other son. Josh is in the stream. Well, I tell Joey all the time he can join us, but he never does. So there's that.
But I don't know about Gray. I don't know about Gray Fox.
sorry,
I think he was
I
like a
got it.
sleeper agent.
I didn't mean Gray Fox. I meant Ryder.
Raiden.
Raiden. No, Raiden is his own dude.
Yeah. Isn't he like a cyborg eventually? Kind of.
Eventually, because he gets kidnapped and
So who was
Turned
who was,
into a
so
cyborg.
Who was Ryder's dad? Who was? I always thought Raiden was a clone because how he was a child soldier and he was so adept.
no, he's just another badass in the Metal Gear series.
But he dies.
All right.
Raiden didn't die.
Joey says I never tell him when we
So,
stream.
in 4, Sons of Liberty.
No, he didn't die. Like he's in because his latest game was Metal Gear Rising.
No, Rises before 4.
Is it?
Yeah, in timeline wise, storyline wise.
I
Yeah,
don't
he
know
died.
because like half of the games are canon, half of them aren't. It's confusing.
He got,
Kojima likes to mess with us like that.
Yeah, he got slaughtered in 4.
And they're all like the timelines of the games are all like just to
Like-
keep you guessing who's who and what's
Like
what.
apparently, like Venom Snake, if you like, and I forget what game it is where you kill Big Boss, and like in one of the original games, apparently that's Venom that you kill.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, he's the first big boss you fight.
Yeah, that's Venom that you kill, which I find really cool because apparently Metal Gear Solid 5 was supposed to have a whole third part to it where it leads up to that event.
Well,
Like,
I also heard that in one part you're supposed to play as the original big boss as well.
yeah, because Venom is basically doing Big Boss's will because he wants to build a nation with soldiers that can choose their own paths. Okay, I'm kind of nerding out right now. Dad's just sort of.
Oh wait, sorry, I dozed off. Sorry about that.
Now, I know we're just a little ways away off from it, but I wanted to go ahead and bring up, do we have any thoughts on Halloween Ends this time for real, for sure? Maybe, kind of, sort of, done?
I want to say...
They're just going to reboot it. They're just going to reboot it.
I want to say this trilogy of Halloween ends with the third movie.
And then they're just going to do a reboot.
They're going to gender swap.
Yeah.
It's going to be Michelle Myers. Well, they tried that the one movie, remember? When his niece was the killer.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now she's been in like every Halloween movie since then.
Well, they also announced that there's going to be a new Saw movie next year on Halloween.
Is it
And
Saw or
is
Spiral?
is it actually Saw or is it going to be?
No, it's actually Saw. And here's the thing though, if you've kept up with all the movies, they had a complete wraparound tie-in on this last one they had on there, which wrapped everything up. So I don't know where a new one can come into play and actually do any good on there.
Unless it's going to be like somebody else who was obsessed with that whole Saw thing.
Like, honestly, how can they really do it? Because, after John Kramer died in the series, it's been...
Well, he died in, the second or third movie, didn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
and finally the third movie. But then they keep bringing him back, but, in flashbacks. Is he back from the dead? But no, it's a flashback because it's his prodigy that's doing this.
He has all the videotapes already made, so she can keep doing it. And...
Yeah, I love horror movies. 100%, but at a certain point, it becomes kind of gimmicky,
right?
Without it's like taking Jason Voorhees out of Friday the 13th.
Hey,
he wasn't in the third one.
The original one wasn't. Exactly. Yeah, the third one he wasn't in either. It was the kid.
No.
The first one, the original one was nothing about.
One with his mother.
Yeah,
but I mean, now he's super iconic. You can't just remove him now. Before, you didn't really know who he was until the second movie.
Until he jumped out of the movie. Until he jumped up out of the water and grabbed that chick, and you're like, "What the?
Yeah.
Under the water all that time." He's an aquatic zombie. That explains how he survives the other movie when they tie him under the water.
Because you literally can't kill him. He's just
too
angry to die.
But he's a demon.
Yeah.
And they need to make that movie. Who did he make the deal with where he can't die?
I just think it has something to do with...
Didn't they have that in Jason Goes to Hell?
I don't know if they actually... It's been so long since I saw those movies. I watched the first couple because they're the good ones. and then eventually I might catch the end of Jason Takes Manhattan if there's I want to watch something that comes on after.
Yeah.
Well, I like the remake.
Really? That one's not bad.
Because it blended 1 and 2 together. So, it was pretty good.
And then, of course, there's Jason X.
Hey, that is a good movie if you don't... if you remove it's supposed to be Jason Voorhees from the movie itself.
It's not Friday the 13th, so,
It's the way I see it. It's really campy and gimmicky, but in a good way.
That's how those horror movies got in the 90s. That's they're so bad they're good. Hey Wendy.
Didn't it come out the same
Hola,
time?
Español. Hola.
Didn't it come out the same time as Doom?
Yes.
I don't know. Doom is the Rock movie we do not talk about. That
No.
that and his
No.
very first movie where he was a CGI Scorpion King.
Yeah, Mummy 3, wasn't it?
Mummy 2.
Mummy 2?
Yeah.
And then
And
they
he-
made the Scorpion King movies.
Yeah. Which didn't have him in it. Well, the first one did, and the other ones had like what's his name? The
VHS.
UFC the UFC guy, Couture,
Yeah.
Randy Couture. Yeah. But so there's that. Let me think.
I
There was
mean, as
some
far as horror movies, I did watch The Black Phone. I don't know if y'all seen that or not.
yeah, I saw that a while ago. That's a good. Joe Hill wrote that.
Yeah, I was not
novella.
expecting what happened with it, and that doesn't happen very often whenever I watch these things, especially with horror movies. You kind of get the plot there,
Yeah.
but I was surprised with it. Pleasantly surprised.
Oh, that was amazing! Like just the way everything led up to
Oh,
the end, and it's like, oh my! Like, how did I not see that? Like,
Exactly.
how did I?
Right in front of you the whole time, and,
Yeah, it
and
was.
no matter how many times you watch it, you don't see where it veers off.
Yeah, you're like, oh my gosh!
And I guarantee you, I'm gonna say this right now, I am getting that Ethan Hawke mask. I guarantee you, I will have that thing.
The guy who made that is, he's from the what's his name in Pittsburgh here, Tom Savini studio.
Oh, really? Okay.
And he's the same one who made the Fiend mask.
Yeah.
For WWE. And
Right.
he made something else too. Because I follow him on Twitter, and when that movie came out, he was like, the last 3 projects he made all turned out to be these like big things.
Oh, absolutely. I'll definitely be looking for that.
Yeah, I like how it shows emotion, how like the bottom parts change, and like so it's like a frown. There's other ones a big smile, and let's see. This is something we're going to talk about later in the show. But Wendy wanted to give us her input on it. It's going to be our scariest moments personal scariest moments in TV, movies, comics, whatever. And
no.
And Wendy says
no.
her scariest moment for her was in a movie was The Grudge, when they first showed the girl moving in that choppy way, and it creeped me out. So there's that. But we're going to get to that a little later in the show. I have quite a few because I'm old, so I can go back.
I got pretty good with myself.
I can go back to some things that really freaked me out when I was younger. Oh, yes. And she says for games, the music in Silent Hill.
Yep.
Oh, but the music is so good in Silent Hill.
It just sets the tone so well in that game. The first one is just incredible. Like, yeah.
One of my favorite songs from Silent Hill is actually from The Room. I forget what the song's called, but I'll think of it. But one of my favorite songs are from The Room, and I had it on my phone for the longest time, and it was a really good song. I gotta find it. I will find it, but it's because it's been like a while. But I will dig around and find it.
I don't know if any of you guys have been caught up on She-Hulk.
Yeah, I'm caught up.
All right.
I haven't even watched it.
I know, but me and you have talked about this part. But
Yeah.
this week's episode, like you see a lot of people are boo-hooing it because it's only a half an hour long. But they told us that when they said it was coming out, there was going to be a 30-minute sitcom, court sitcom thing, like the sitcoms used to be on TV, only half an hour long.
Yeah.
But there was a couple revelations in this week's episode that were kind of, if you weren't paying attention, you kind of missed it. Well, the first one I want to mention is the revelation that Wolverine is in the MCU.
Allegedly.
So, who else could it be? A guy's fighting in a bar fight with metal claws.
Dragon?
Well, does that have to mean Wolverine is there? And,
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time like they've introduced characters and like retconned their backgrounds.
yeah, so,
like that Fox X-Men TV show.
Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
well, yeah.
No,
that
I'm
is-
talking about the TV show. With,
Yeah,
The Gifted.
Gifted. And then the second thing I thought was hilarious because it's like a little inside joke, and if you weren't paying attention, you probably missed it. But when Jennifer calls Bruce to get his permission to take the Blonsky case, and he's like, Jen, I was a different person then.
I'm a whole new
Literally,
man.
literally a different man. I'm
Yeah.
like,
No different man.
So, not only does it's like finally them saying, yes,
Well,
the Incredible Hulk is MCU canon.
and honestly, with that scene right there, ticked off a lot of people because she looked straight at the camera, did the fourth wall thing again.
Yeah.
And people were like, why is she breaking the fourth wall? Deadpool is the only one that does that. And it's like,
No,
have you read the comic?
You're the first.
She was the first one in Marvel. It was
Exactly.
her thing. He stole it
Exactly.
from her. And he didn't do it until they did that when they changed him from a serious character to a comedy character.
Yeah.
That same scene though would make me mad because does Bruce Banner know the Shatar?
I don't know, but he said, yeah, he would know. Well, that ship.
The last episode he said he doesn't remember because he wasn't in control, but now he's on the ship there. So
Well, that's the ship that caused them to crash.
Yeah, that's from the World War. That's from the World War Hulk thing.
Yes, it is.
Planet or was it World War Hulk or was it Planet Hulk?
Same thing.
Yes, same thing. They just lead right into it's a continuation story.
But he said last episode he said he don't remember that at all. So how does he know anything about the ship or how you can? Oh, that was Billy. I remember fighting with him. He doesn't remember anything. So how does that even transpire?
Maybe when he merged the two into Smart Hulk, he finally got the memories when he was Hulk. That's the only thing I can.
Well, no, because he asked about the fight. Him and Thor.
Oh, I don't know. But I also like the post-credit scene in the first episode with the whole Steve Austin. Captain America is not is not a virgin, and how
they didn't tell Chris Evans about that.
Yeah, well, yeah, they didn't tell him. So Chris Evans had to come out and like give a statement about Captain America's sexual past. And now I read something that Marvel's like maybe going to bring Captain America back to redeem his story. What? Because he had sex when he was, before he died or before he got put into fucking ice. What's the problem with that? Oh, here, Wendy also said that it seems that continuity just isn't important anymore.
Yeah,
it seems that way. Like they like
retcons everywhere.
It's whoever the writer is today, they get to tell their story and screw what happened before me.
You think they're gonna explain the Beta Ray Bill thing statue?
No, I don't. I want to see the Thor core so bad.
Well, technically, we
saw the kid Thor core.
I know, and that pisses me off because it's like, no, that's not the Thor core. That's you just messed it up.
No, because it's their like way of like, oh, we're gonna make the Thor core, but we're not gonna bring any of the characters.
Yeah. Joey says he wants to know who's going to be the new Wolverine.
There's a rumor, and I hope they're wrong.
There's plenty of rumors.
No, I hope they're wrong because they're saying Harry Potter's going to do it, and I'm like,
I seen that. No. Yeah, I seen that one.
Yeah.
I can't unsee that. I mean, it's just like I'm waiting for him to have a wand while he's going around with the claws. I can't do that.
Well,
would you manage? Just walks up to Magneto. How about a cadabra?
Being on Deadpool though.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Hugh Jackman is going to be in Deadpool 3.
Oh yeah, he's already said he's going to put on the claws one more time, and that's whenever he and Ryan Reynolds had already talked. And Ryan Reynolds is the only one who'll do that for.
How you gonna put him on when it's CGI? He's lying right there.
No, actually not. He has the claws that he wears.
Yeah,
because he actually. But he actually, because I remember when he was making that movie, he accidentally hit somebody with them. Yeah, they're like those ones that have the handle but they're like, they have the real ones here.
Yeah, they look like they're going into your.
So they have them for certain scenes, but when he fights, they're CGI because they don't need him cutting somebody, go across their face and you took my eyeball out.
Ching.
So.
Now, there was news that I got, I believe it was this morning that I found that I wanted to bring up real quick, is the Marvel Zombies. I don't know if y'all heard this or not, but they are planning on doing this full on in the same style as what was it called? The one that was on Amazon Prime that was so graphic.
The boys.
No, the cartoon.
Cartoon.
Invincible.
Yes, Invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they said they want to go in that same style, and they said that several favorite characters will die. And I was like, oh, bring it on. Let's do this.
But why not keep it the same style as What If? They already got the models already made.
Yeah, but they're going to do this one much bigger.
Well, maybe not the animation style, but the whole storyline style, where they're actually going to like show them like tearing into people and stuff.
Right.
Like not.
So it's going to be on Hulu.
Hey, they already put R-rated movies on Disney Plus, so
They didn't make it. They just put it on there. See that?
yeah. So I mean, they've already set a precedence to.
The mouse
be
had no control over that. He just put it on.
Well, they could have put those shows on Hulu, so they did.
Yeah.
Like they have an adult section in Disney Plus that you can't access in America. It's what is it? Disney Stars.
No, you
or
can
something like that.
Because I set up a PIN code for it and I've got it, so I can get all of the.
That way, parents can separate the R-rated stuff so the kids can't get a.
I thought like the only way you could access it is through VPN.
No,
you can do it normally because I'm able to get the Defenders and Daredevil and all the Punisher. Those are actually, you can't get those unless you have that pin to get
set
it.
up.
Yeah.
So they put the Ghost Rider show on there? Or no?
I don't know. I think they haven't really said much about Ghost Rider for a little while.
It's not Ghost Rider, but it's the guy with the little circle and the star on his chest. I can't think.
Hellstorm.
Hellstorm. Yes, that's on Hulu.
That's still on Hulu because that was a Hulu show.
Yep.
I was gonna say, wait, what about a Ghost Rider TV show? I am intrigued. But no, I got it down.
No, but they're setting up
Midnight Suns.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I thought they were setting up for Midnight Suns, but after this last episode on She-Hulk, they are definitely setting up Thunderbolts. Yeah. 7 of his close friends outside. Oh, yeah.
So you think Midnight Suns over Thunderbolts?
I think Thunderbolts are going to be their main one. They're going to do a precedent on right there. I think Midnight Suns, they're only going to do the game because they have the game coming out the end of next month.
Yeah, they won't do Midnight Suns until you have to get the Blade movie or show, whatever it is. They're going to have to introduce those other characters before they do Midnight Suns.
I mean, it won't be hard, though.
Yeah, but
Moon Knight.
But you got to set there's a bunch of characters.
Your most important one's Ghost Rider. So you can't just like put him in a show. You can't like have him just cameo in a show and then make you're gonna have to set that up.
They kind of already did with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
but just sort of fell off the face of the earth.
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not canon.
It's not.
How?
So you got to see what they want to do. And if you're doing Midnight Suns, I think you have to go back and at least do Johnny. Yeah, you have to do Johnny Cage or Johnny Blaze or Danny Katz. You can't.
Yeah,
Johnny.
Not that
Cage.
Miguel or whatever he is.
Yeah, let's do the crossover. Have Scorpion in there. Let's finish it pretty good.
Just add Shaq too.
Yeah. Shaq Fu. I'm waiting for that reboot. I want the Shaq Fu reboot, and it's like a crossover with Kazam.
Which one, Sinbad or Shaq?
The Shaq one. The Shaq. It's a crossover. Oh, man.
Okay, Wendy put a thing up here. Put this up here real quick. The one about the Heroes for Hire.
Oh yeah, there we go. She says, I was hoping they were setting up Heroes for Hire with Iron Fist, but it tanked so bad that I think they decided to scrap the idea. I actually enjoyed Iron Fist. I did too, Wendy. I don't care what anyone tells me. I liked Iron Fist.
I like Iron Fist, but I didn't like Luke Cage. I think me and Phil are usually on this. We're old people, and we can go back to when we had crappy cartoon stuff, comic book stuff. So there ain't much that comes out that we're like, that's terrible.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't know
You're just
what
pretty much
terrible
thankful
is.
that anything comes out.
Yeah.
You didn't live through David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury.
Yeah, no. Worse than that.
I'm 30. I'm 31.
Worse than that. And you can't find it anywhere. If I can find it, I will buy it in a heartbeat. Roger Corman's Fantastic
Four.
Worst
I had.
It's on YouTube, I believe.
Yeah, you can watch it. Like people, because I've had a bootleg copy of it before. Yeah, you can find it. It is bad. Like thing in a rubber rock suit.
Oh man.
Is it worse than the Super Friends or Just League show? It had the Flash and Green Lantern.
Yes.
It's right there. Like it's there. Wendy knows what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Or Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher. Come on, with the black shoe polish in his hair.
Yeah, I never seen that one.
Oh yeah.
The Hulk TV movies that they made with Daredevil and
no,
Thor.
Thor inside the Hulk TV.
I was going to say exactly. You can't go wrong with Hulk because Lou Ferrigno was great and everything. But whenever they brought in Thor, I was like, "Oh, what is this?"
And then they did Trial of the Hulk, and it was Daredevil.
They brought in Daredevil because they brought him in the black suit, and everybody was like, "Who is this?" And everybody was losing their mind, going, "That's Daredevil." And then they criticized it, and then whenever he showed up in the black suit, eventually in the shows, they're like, "That's the coolest suit ever," and it's like, "Oh man, come on."
See, Joshua being the young, and he's like, "Who's Dolph Lundgren?"
Yeah, I'm lost here. Like, I think my first superhero movie was The Incredible Hulk.
Or the Spider-Man 3 probably. Spider-Man
So no
2,
Blade?
Spider-Man 3.
No, because I remember watching The Incredible Hulk when we lived in the trailer.
Yeah, but Spider-Man, you had to see Spider-Man 3 before that because.
Oh yeah, no, because I was only a toddler. I was only a little thing whenever Hulk came out, right?
That.
Yeah. Yes, the OG Spider-Man show with the giant web shooter and a belt. We were talking about the Japanese Spider-Man the other day.
That was late 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't climb any walls. He just ran around.
Yes.
I remember I watched clips of that, and oh my god!
That's at the same time whenever they had the Captain America, which was equally as bad as
the
that.
motorcycle helmet for his mask, like his helmet. He wore a motorcycle.
Yeah,
helmet.
I've seen that.
It's great. The stuff we had to live through, Phil, just so people complain about the MCU.
And then you're just like amateurs. You don't know my pain.
You don't know what crappy comic book movies are.
Like, you're lucky.
Yeah. Like, we had a lull. Like, we had the first 2 Superman movies and then garbage. And then Batman and Batman Returns. Then garbage.
Yes.
And then finally Blade. Blade redeemed us. We're like,
what about Spawn?
Like I said, Blade. And then,
and then I'm sorry to say the Spawn
comic book movies can be good.
Now the Spawn anime was good. You got to
because the HBO Spawn animated show was great.
I think comic books work better as series.
I forgot about Steel. All right, there's 3 crossovers. We're gonna have Steel, Shazam. Or Kazlam, I mean.
I was so confused at Steel. I was like, "Where's Superman?"
Yeah, doesn't he take his? Oh, look. Now see, Joey, you weren't alive to watch the Spawn movie. Okay, it was bad. Okay, Rubber Suit Spawn was bad.
Oh yeah,
it was bad. Joey, my brother is super biased. My brother is super biased because he breeds Spawn. That's all he does anymore.
Here's the thing. Why are you going to take a super martial arts star like Michael Jai White and put him into a suit where he can't barely move? So he
put him in a gimp suit so he can't do shit.
But the funny part is Joey makes fun of the Keaton Batman because he couldn't turn his head. I was like, it was the same thing.
So with that being said, you think Jamie Foxx will do any fighting?
I didn't like that casting when they said it. I don't like that casting where he's still saying it's going to be Jamie Foxx. I mean, is this like geriatric Spawn?
See, I think they're training him because they keep dropping all these superhero-esque movies with him in it, like Project Power, the Day Shift, and something else came in. It's like all the same thing, but not Spawn.
We're getting you ready. But what sucks is because the whole image thing, the way it was.
No Way Home.
Yeah.
And so we're not going to be able to have Chapel in a Spawn movie, which sucks. because that was the person who killed him. Like, that's like the whole thing. Like,
I mean, so you're not going to have him?
No, we don't. We won't get him because Liefeld owned them, and then Liefeld sold all the Youngblood stuff to somebody else, and that person sold it to this other guy. And now the guy's just like sitting on the stuff because he's an a-hole and he's trying to make these comic books and no one will work for him. Because,
but that's okay because Angela is back with Marvel, so I'm just waiting for that one.
Well, that's because Morrison owned the rights to that character.
Yep.
So he needed money a few years ago and he sold it. I can hear me on your thing, Josh.
I know. Why are we getting
Like, my dad's just on the other side of this door here.
Yeah.
Literally. I was going to sit right beside him, but there was no room.
No, he couldn't get his headphones to work right.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Don't you have your... I thought you were using your earbuds.
They wouldn't connect. So I'm like, screw it.
Oh, that's why. So I'll have to talk quieter.
Yeah, don't get too excited.
And right now I'm like holding my phone. I have it plugged in. It's thrown across the bed.
I am whispering and I can still hear me.
Oh my!
You got good acoustics.
I must. This is crazy. What the heck?
Maybe you're louder than you
The
think.
pain of technology.
If you take like one ear off, one ear on, you might get a good sound.
Okay, here's me just whispering then.
Let me ask you guys.
We're not doing the scary moments right now.
Let me ask you guys. What books did y'all read last week?
Oh, last week I read. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books.
You said you didn't read anything.
Yeah, but I did afterwards because I knew we were gonna at least I wanted to read them anyway.
Well, talk about the that one book that we live, or the one about the cell phone.
Yes.
Oh, New Think. Yes,
Yes.
I did read that. New Think 3.0.
Yes.
Yeah, I was it. Greg Hurwitz is the writer, and I think Kerrion Grant did the art on that issue. That was an interesting one. At first, I thought it was kind of reminiscent of the first issue, but then I realized it's not because the first issue is more about all of our kind of things, and Josh just. Yeah, right. And where this one is strictly about our cell phones and how we rely too much on them. So what did you guys think?
I liked it better in the second story, I believe.
The second story was like the fantasy story and about the how governments, like leaders, can control the narrative kind of thing.
Yeah, I liked it better than that one.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I did too. And you can definitely see where there's it's like there's a pattern to it. I'm interested to see exactly how many of these things are going to be on there. Bye, Wendy. Thanks for being here. I'm interested to see how many of them are going to be on there and what kind of pattern they go with moving forward, because if they're going to have more books on this is getting very interesting. This is starting to stomp on some toes, shall we say.
Yeah. One thing visually I liked about the book was the panels were made like cell phones,
yes,
the panels were actually cell phones. So that was a neat little, if you're not paying attention, you might miss it thing. All right, we got Josh back. Are you there, Josh? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear him?
Sorry, I was fiddling around with my settings and then it backed out. And I'm like,
but can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
No, never mind.
He over his head.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
I was wondering if it was still picking me up. Because I don't hear it as much now. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. Here's what's Joey say now about Spawn. King Spawn, 0 Point, and DC Kingdom Come are all I read last week.
Joey's been running all over 10 buck too, trying to find all of the 0
0
Point
Point
comics.
for Fortnite.
Is that the Marvel?
Yeah.
The Marvel one?
It's the DC one.
Because if you get all the comics, you get like the exclusive Batman skin
Yeah.
that looks pretty badass. Not gonna lie, even though I'm not that into Fortnite, the skin looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
But
what's so special about the Marvel one then? The
I don't
same
know.
thing?
I have no clue. I haven't
You get like a
checked
special
out.
Spider-Man suit.
They already give you that special Spider-Man so you could buy it. So,
Oh.
and they gave us the Wolverine one last month in the crew pack. So
Hey, maybe you get that special '70s version Spider-Man suit. Ooh.
Oh, you're talking about the Patches outfit for Logan.
no, it's the one from there, like where he has the brown suit on, but it's tore up, so you still have the hood, and he has like this, like
What,
almost
Logan?
like
Wolverine?
yeah.
Well,
He has like an
one
eye
now with
patch.
an eye patch.
Oh, he does have an eye patch. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's right,
isn't
he
it
had
like
the eye
it's like
patch.
a reference to like Patch, like his secret identity or something?
Maybe. I have no idea. But getting back to comics, we talked about Fortnite last week or 2 weeks ago. We weren't here last week. If you want to
Yeah,
talk
man.
Fortnite, you had to be here 2 weeks ago. That was our Fortnite talk. But the new season does start September 17th. So if you want to start playing, that's a good time to jump in the new Battle Pass, September 17th.
All right.
At Fortnite, if you want to sponsor us, because I give you little ads like that, you can. I'll take some free stuff. But yeah, that new thing 3.0. That's I don't know who makes that. Is that AWA?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's a neat book. If no one's read it, each issue is a whole new creative team, and it's really tackling like social issues. I guess is the best way to. Like the first one was like how we're really reliant on our technology and how it's taking over our lives and our society. And
It was all
like I
about
said,
screens, TV screens,
computer
yeah,
screens, screen time. And how we're becoming zombies to this, and it's like letting us open for these alien invasions. But the last month's issue was about a character. It's like in medieval times. She was a bard, and she would sing the song about the king. And the king didn't like it, so tried to shut it down. And so it's just kind of like how the government kind of controls the narrative of stuff, like on the news and things like. So we can't just go by what they tell us. We have to stand up for ourselves. And then, like we said, this week was about cell phones and how we're constantly connected to our cell phones. And I can't quite remember what the end part was, like what happens to us because we're all on these cell phones.
The cell phone was supposed to be like vampires.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
They were sucking your life away.
So they're sucking, like they're draining our life away. Yeah.
In story, it was like the person was getting ready to snap out of it. Oh, they were trying to go to sleep or snap out of it, and it says,
Yes.
"Oh, before you get away, we need some more notifications and a phone call." So go back.
So you pick us back up and look at it. Yeah. So that was interesting. One of the other books I read last week was Entropy, issue number 1, and that was a heavy metal book. I don't know if any of you's read that.
Yes.
That's something I guess heavy metal has started doing recently, is actually doing comic books as well as the magazine. As you read through it, you can definitely tell it was heavy metal. It gave you that, like, if you watched any of the heavy metal movies from the 80s and 90s, it definitely gave you that vibe going into it, like the whole where the guy gets sucked up by aliens and he gets made into this superhero. What kind of superhero? And the world ends and he comes back. So I'm interested to see what this storyline, like, because it kept telling you, like, I've been waiting for these thousands of years, and you're like, what the heck's going on? And there's a reveal at the end, and you see. I'm definitely going to give issue 2 a try to see because I've read some other of the heavy metal books, but I think this is the first like superhero book that they have done. And didn't I see, speaking of heavy metal, there was going to be something new coming out with heavy metal. I just can't remember if there's a live action thing. I have to look at it.
It's Tarna. Yes.
Yes, Tarna.
Yes.
Yes. So anybody who was our age, that was like one of our first crushes, I think. It was our first like introduction into adult themed stuff, like heavy metal. I remember watching that.
Every guy our age had that poster in their room at some point. A heavy metal poster with Tarna right there on there.
No doubt. And all the youngins are like, we have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
we don't even know what heavy metal is.
I see the icon when I scroll through Hulu. That's about it. But it's not even Hulu. It's Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. There we go.
Skip right over it. Like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. If those young who don't know, Heavy Metal is a magazine. But they also, in the 80s, did an animated movie, which was like an anthology. And there was some pretty messed up, scary stories on that. So, and there's some pretty, like, very adult-themed, like,
and then they redid it. They did another one in 2000.
In 2000, yeah. Yep. So that was Heavy Metal 2000, and that was some other stories.
Yeah. I see both of those. Skip right over.
Well, you should watch them. Trust me. When the kids aren't around.
Now, in speaking of, the heavy metal style and everything like that, one of the other books that I read last week was Lady Hell. And that's issue number 1. That is from, I can't remember who did that one.
It's Dynamite.
It's Dynamite, isn't it? Yes. So the interesting thing about this one is they're playing the multiverse game. That there's not just one universe, that kind of thing. So what happens whenever the Queen of Hell on one planet dies, or one universe or whatever, and goes to hell, but she's not in control? That's what this book is about. So it was fun. It was interesting. I am definitely looking forward to reading this series as it goes along, and see what happens with it. But it is definitely one that you want to kind of look at and see what's going on. I don't want to give too much away on it because it does have a lot of twist turns and plot twists in there. But if you're looking for something that is fun, fast, and keeps you thinking, that one will definitely do it.
Yeah. When I first started reading it, I thought it was a Zenoscope book for some reason. I don't know.
Right.
And then I was like, wait, no, this isn't. This is like Lady Death, Vampirella stuff.
Yes.
I had to come back.
And then the other book that I read last week that goes along with ones that I've been talking about up to this point is Do a Powerbomb number 3. I have been heavily into this series. I am a huge wrestling fan, have been for quite some time and everything. And this series is a lot of fun and very fast-paced. It was asked of me a couple weeks ago if they have any supernatural things happening in this. Someone asked in the comments, I can't remember who it was. And at the point with issues 1 and 2, nothing supernatural as far as opponents had happened. In this one, they fight a tag team of orangutans.
I did read that.
You heard that correctly. They're the Orangagang. That sounds terrible saying out loud, but it's what they call it.
It's the Orangagang bang. What?
Like they're squaring up against Donkey Kong.
Pretty much. It was
There's
a lot
big
of
orangutan and a smaller orangutan.
They go to old school moves that just get amped up so high on the meter that it's so much fun watching, and the graphics really do well with it. Lettering is there. I'm loving this story. I can't wait to see what happens with the rest of it that's going forward, but it is definitely one to keep an eye out on.
I liked when they revealed all the tag teams are in the tournament. You see all the teams. And I don't know how long this book runs, but that's just they got through the first round. I'm like, are they going to do each book going to be a round in this tournament? Or is it going to go another 3-4 books?
Well, I mean, they've got another 4 more to go before they get to the final. So yeah, because they got the bracket up on the board now. They've only gone to the first round.
Yeah. So yeah, I haven't really read because I put all the books together for the show. So I see every book that we put up. And sometimes I read parts of it as I go. But yeah.
Speaking of books for the week, is that Bill Reed book? Is that for next week or this week selection?
Which book?
It came from Bill Reed or something like that. It's like a kids like a kids comic, but it has like all the superheroes like in little chibi type things. It must be in this week's selection we're gonna do later on.
Yeah, it must be the ones come out today because I don't know what books you're talking about. I didn't look at today's books yet. It was like what time? It was like 7 o'clock before I realized. Oh crap! I got to do the show tonight. Because the kids were like, here, and I get. But for this week's books, of course, we had Grimm number 3? Number 4. So that's Stephanie Phillips and Flaviano. That's become like our book that we always cover. Trying to work on, still working on getting them on the show. Stephanie Phillips is kind of hard because she works in Marvel. Like she writes, I don't know how people write that many stories in a month, but there we go. But this one, we get to see the 3 main characters go back to Earth, and they're in Las Vegas looking for the Grim Reaper. So this is interesting. Like,
is it Grim Reaper or is it Death?
Same thing. They call them both. They say Death, the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
But they're the Grim Reapers.
Yeah, no, they're just Reapers.
Oh, okay.
And I guess what we found out here is when they're in their light, they still look like humans. It's only when they go into the dark that you can see the skeleton thing, because they said that it's smart for him to come to Las Vegas because the lights are always on here.
Yep.
So he can blend in. But when they reveal Death at the end,
yes,
it gave me. If you watched Preacher, when you finally see God, it gave me that same thing. I was like, what? And I want to know, why does he have an ankle brace when he's in house arrest, an ankle bracelet on?
Yep.
It's Vegas, man.
Yeah, but why does Death have an ankle monitor on? Like, I seen. I was like, what? He's in. What did he do to get?
There's no telling on that one. I'm interested to see how that's going to pick up on the next issue.
Then the people in the street was so drunk, they didn't realize their friend went through the bus.
Yeah, that was good. And that's when Death talked to her through. And she's like, how did we do that? How did we get through? Oh, you're drunk. I just pushed you out of the way.
He just gets so belligerently drunk, he just starts telling people how they're going to die.
No, the one girl, Joshua hasn't seen it. The story is, there's this girl, actually all the Reapers, there's like thousands of them, and they're people who have died, and they become Reapers. Well, this girl in the first issue, her job is to reap this guy, but he steals her side, and so she goes back to get it, and then all of a sudden people in the real world can see her. She can interact with the living and the dead, and they don't understand why. So that's kind of like her whole deal. So now Death is missing, so they're going to find Death, and she has his sigh at that one, and she can open the portals between heaven and between earth and hell, and so it'll be. And so she doesn't remember how she died. Everyone else remembers how she died, but she doesn't. And I like how we're finally getting more of those characters. Like the British guy is the best. Like,
yes,
it's very, very beginning. I'm afraid of heights, and then she's like, "We're gonna have to jump." Did you miss the part where I said I'm afraid of heights? So the Grimm book. That's always like when I see it. It's the first book I always read. I don't know. I can't remember how many issues it's supposed to be, but I'm hoping it's one that we get like several volumes of. Like when this one's over, they come back with some more stories. Because I'd like to keep seeing these characters.
Well, Boom Studios, and usually they say how many are on there. I'm looking right now, and I don't see a number. So they don't have this actually set up for a certain number in the series.
So it might be an ongoing for the time being.
I think when we started, it probably did, but I think it was so popular they decided to keep.
Yeah, because I think almost every issue has gone to second prints. So
Well, I'm sure that's because of our show, right? Because everybody wants
it is.
to
That's why I'm telling them
Exactly.
every week they should be on our show.
Exactly.
Because we're the ones who like have gotten the word out and gotten them all this play. And I make sure I mention Stephanie Phillips and Flaviano's name every time.
Exactly.
So you know what I'm saying. But the Calculated Man was another book I read.
Yes.
A Calculated Man. That book I think is getting better as it goes.
Yes, it is.
Like this issue, it finally was not like convoluted. It was like not jumping times, so we weren't getting confused. And you're starting to see this guy, like he's finally getting his personality. We're seeing like, and what the kind of his motivation of stuff. And it's just, I love when he's talking to his pet turtle, feeding it strawberries, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I'm not holding it as steady as I normally do, but I'm stressed. I'm all stressed out." And you think it's because the gangsters are searching for him, and you find out it's because of a woman, because of a girl. So that's like the best. This book, like I said, I think it's gotten better. This is issue 3. I think it's a limited series. I can't remember how many. 5 or 6,
I believe.
And it's written by Paul Tobin, and it's art by Alberto Albuquerque, and it's from Aftershock. So I'm sure we probably know those people in all of our thousands of groups of friends on Facebook. So I think Paul, at least I think I'm friends with him because I've heard that name places before. So I've seen the name. But yeah, I really like how it's finally setting up to the end of the story. Like we're starting to see where they want to go with the story and his relationship with the FBI guy.
Yes.
Like it's kind of like, dude, don't make me have to do this.
Yeah. But he's already thought out everything before the FBI guy can,
Then everybody, he knows it. Yeah.
It's one of those things. Basically, think of it this way: if you're interested in chess by any means or any kind of games like that, and thinking ahead and knowing that you have all the moves figured out before anybody else that's even around you, that you're the smartest person in the room, that's what's going on in this book. And every time that you read it and you try to think that you know what's going on, you get to the end of it going, "What did I miss? What just happened here?" It's that kind of book. I absolutely love the writing in there. I will say this right now. There is a lot of dialogue in these books.
Yeah.
You have to read all the way through to understand what's going on because there's a lot of information in all these dialogues. Mm-hmm. But it is well worth it whenever you get to the end. Just going to say that.
Yeah, it isn't like wasted dialogue. Everything in there, the text, everything, like really lends it to the story. And I think even as much text is in it, I read it pretty quick. It's not one of those like Rob. I mean, like the Todd McFarlane early Spawn books where it takes you an hour to read through the comic book because it's just
it
text.
Keeps you hooked because you're trying to figure out what's going on. So
So it's wordy, but it's good. The art fits it. I think I love the look of Jack.
Yeah,
like it's just as this guy, like this crazy hair, and he's an accountant for the mob. He remembers. He's like that memory where he remembers everything. So he has like there's one point where the FBI guys can't like catch him because he avoids places because he knows like where everybody should be at certain times in the city, and they show like he doesn't know this person, he doesn't know this person, he doesn't know this person he knows. This is what they do. This is what these two people are doing, and so he stays so they can't see him because like, oh, this guy shouldn't be here at this point. So it's a very I don't know what the word is on, but it's an interesting book, and I can't wait to read more of that one as well. Then the only other book I read this week was Batman: The White Knight Presents the Red Hood.
You didn't read Public Domain?
No,
What?
I ran out of time.
Oh man, that was the one that was a slap in the face.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll get you guys can tell me about it, and I will read it. I still have it on my list because I've liked that book and I've pretty much kept up with it. But in this just takes place
The book. This I don't mean to cut you off, but the book is going back. We said on that first day, like he's really trying to home in on a point or hurt something. He's really doing it in this book.
yeah.
Yep.
Now I will have to read it. Maybe I'll read it live right here on the show. But the White Knight presents the Red Hood. It's a lot of color references in that title. All they had to do is give the Batman a different color. Like it could be the Black Batman presents Black Batman, the White Knight presents the Red Hood. So I mean that's what we can say. But this is in the first issue we saw that there is this takes place in the Sean Murphy Batman universe. If you haven't read any of the White Knight stuff, I suggest you go back and read it because it's probably some of the best Batman stuff that's been out in a while. But this deals with Jason Todd. Jason Todd in this universe was the first Robin, and the kind of story kind of veers off when Joker has him captured, and to save his life, he tells the Joker that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and that's how he survives it. And then he leaves Gotham, and eventually he comes back as and he doesn't want anything to do with superheroes.
I think you talked about this book.
What? Yeah, the first issue. Yeah, I'm giving the roundabout. The second issue.
Okay.
So in this issue, he's still training Gan, which is this girl who wanted to be Robin, and she finally goes to take out the enemy. It's what is his name? It's the same in a Batman Beyond book, Shriek or something. But these whole first two issues were like the preamble, like the setup for the actual storyline, because you see at the end, the way the story ends is like she takes out the villain, but she ends up in the hospital, and he takes off. Like he's like, I'm just gonna take off. I don't want to deal with this, and he like gets in his car and he leaves. So he comes back, and she's an adult now, and they need to. I can't remember who the character was that they needed to take care of. So she's coming back out of retirement, I guess, because now she decided that her thing is like an open hand does more damage than a closed fist. So then when she decides she's going to come back, he's like, I thought you said. She goes, oh, yeah, that's true, but sometimes you need to use a closed fist to get stuff done. So I don't know where this is leading, really. I don't know if you've read any of the White Knight stuff, where Joker's a police officer. And
One question: at what point in the White Knight timeline does this take place? Because I know there's like the Azrael arc, and then there's the one where Bruce is an old dude, and it's
before Bruce is he's still Batman, so he's not old, because when he comes back, she says, well, I thought you and Wayne were buddies again. And he goes, well, I wouldn't say we're buddies. So it's still when he's, actively Batman.
Yeah.
So, that's all the books I read this week. I don't know if you guys read any of the other books.
Well, of course we read Public Domain.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And on that book, I don't know what the first scene. I don't know what that was about, but it showed one of the oldest son getting beat up, and the dad coming to save him. Was that what it was, Phil?
Yep.
And then it just cuts back to the son getting bullied by the same people. And how much money he owes them. We finally got a dollar amount, and they gave him one more week to come up with the money. But as soon as they leave, it's a luxury limousine pulls up their house, and they're like, "Oh, you lied to me, but you still got 1 week to pay me." So the limousine takes him to the sister of, I don't know if it's the writer or the company owner's business, and she tries to offer him some money to give to his dad, in which he has the lawyer in his pocket on FaceTime.
Yep.
and the lawyer goes
the drug dealing lawyer.
Yeah. And says
Better
the
call
money's too
Saul.
low and we're not gonna accept
Yeah.
that or whatever. And then it flashes back to the youngest son. And he's a tattoo artist. I don't think it ever said what his job was.
No, they didn't.
But he just randomly putting tattoos or anything on people, and he gets fired.
Oh, I did see that when I was going through the book. Like, there's the one that had the Chinese writing, and he wrote something else.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, I believe he just talked to his brother, and then it goes to the mom and the dad goes to the meeting with the company about the deal.
The rights to the
So
domain.
What everybody thought would happen didn't happen. The dad didn't take the full rights or the full money like the mom pushed him up to, but he did get some money, enough to cover the debt of, I guess, the family and the two sons. So that he did do that, but he was so happy that he got the rights to the comics. And the oldest brother was pissed. He's like, what about the movies and the toys and all that? And the dad says he doesn't care about none of that. He can finally make comic books with his sons. And that's how it ends.
And it's done, right? I mean, it was just a 3 and done because there's nowhere else for it to go.
Yeah,
I thought it was more.
Yeah.
Is there more?
I thought at least 2 more.
I don't remember.
Oh man.
Did I put how many? Usually I've been putting like 1 of whatever or 3 of whatever.
No.
Then I must not know how many it is.
Well, on top of that, I read what I read? The Deja Doors book.
Oh, Deja Taurus, yeah. The fairy tales, Deja Taurus.
Yeah. So I've been trying to read that John Carter of Mars. So through this one in there, and I don't know nothing about the character. I never seen a movie and never seen anything. So I don't know if this backstory was something that common knowledge or what, but it's interesting to see how they intertwines with each other. The only weird thing that caught me off guard was the imagery of the characters. They look totally different from the other books and the other things. So I don't know what's going on there.
Well, this is like the one shot. Like I think last week they had a Red Sonja fairy tales and some other I think Vampirella fairy tales, and they're actually taking like classic fairy tales and retelling them with these characters. And I'm trying to remember which one was it. Cinderella this time with Deja Taurus. Yeah, because I remember the
one that goes in the tower. That's what it sounded like to me. Which one is that?
No, it was Snow White because I remember like the little alien guys that's there, and her stepmother
Snow White,
becomes like a witch.
Snow White,
yeah, that's what it was.
Then I read.
I didn't, but I said like I don't read them all, but I do see them all as I'm converting them.
The other one I read was I Hate This Place, which got me interested in reading the other books, but it was great as a standalone issue. I don't know what's going on, but apparently they're running from some monsters, I believe. And the first monster they show is a giant spider, and I believe it bit one of the guys' necks on the previous books. So he got this big old boiled head. Then they run to find this car. It has money in it, and like I said, probably one of the cast members that was with previous books are looking for this money because he's been digging holes throughout the whole like each panel, and he's like, wait a minute, they didn't even bury the money, they just put it in the car. So
digging holes and stealing souls, right?
Yeah, so he chases the 2 girls for the money, and why he's chasing them, they're still running from the monster, the spider. And it's like, okay, we give you the money, but we gotta let you know you gotta be quiet because it's the monster. He said, I don't care about that, I care about the money. And just like every horror film, the monster comes and it gets him. But it seems like every issue is a different monster they're running from. Because I guess they got like a little prequel to the next monster. I forgot what it was, but I think every issue is a different monster. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I mean, I'm interested. I want to see how they even got onto that location to see why they're running from. What's the whole point in the running? Like, what are they on some island or something? Yeah, so I think that's be a good read to go back to. Also, Minor Threats. I read that one. That was interesting. It might be one I pick up.
Yeah.
Is it the writer of that? Is that the same guy from King of Queens?
It's the same. No, that's the wait, King of Queens. Maybe so, because it's the same guy from
MODOK.
What's that?
MODOK. Patrick Oswalt.
Yeah, Patton Oswalt. It's the same guy from Agents of Shield. He's also a comedian. He does all kinds of stuff.
Short guy, right?
Yeah, short guy. Remember, he was the twins on Agents of Shield?
And John has told me he's trying to get Patton Oswalt on the show. He's been telling me that since he came on because he knows Patton Oswalt.
What?
Yeah.
Well, the funny part about this, I thought it was him, and I wanted to be some comedy in it. There's no comedy in the book at all.
No.
It's a serious book, and it's a book about supervillains, and they're right now in the dive bar. You know, they all just coming in after, I guess, they're doing their crimes or getting ready to start their crimes or whatever. And one of the villains, I don't know, is she a sidekick villain or what she really was, but she ended up doing a bank robbery, and it went sour, and she got arrested, and she's trying to go straight by working on the bar because yet again, it's some vague information. I don't know was her sidekick, her little sister, or her daughter. It's her daughter. Never mind.
Her daughter, yeah.
It's the daughter. So she lost her daughter because she got arrested, and she's a dangerous society, so she don't got custody of her daughter. So she's working in the bar, and one guy is saying he's the main villain to this one hero called the Insomniac. Yep. And everybody's saying, no, you're not. Then immediately this guy comes in all beat up and battered because that same hero has beat him up. Because I don't know, that same villain was in the bar that they talked about, but called the Dust. He killed the guy's sidekick, so he's going on a bloody rampage, beating up villains. And I guess it come full circle when she leaves her job and go trying to go visit her daughter because all this stuff going on, and one of the other heroes pick her up and try to like beat her up in front of her daughter, and her daughter like basically says she hates her and she don't let her go away. So she flips the script because she's like trying to go straight. Now she goes back, put the uniform back on, get her weapons or toys, whatever you call it, and she rallies up to her patrons at her bar to find this one villain to kill him, so they stop getting beat up by these superheroes that's flying around beating them up. So it's interesting, but I don't know. I didn't expect the whole Suicide Squad anti-hero type thing to happen, but it was good.
Was there anything that you read, Phil?
Yeah, I read Book of Shadows issue 2. How do I put this? That one was. There's a lot of information in there, but there's too much information. It's like you're going along and they're throwing so much at you so fast that you can't keep up with it on a page by page. So I found myself getting stuck on a page, going back, getting stuck on a page, going back. I didn't really get a lot of forward movement, so it wasn't a real big page turner for me because it was set up that way.
Yeah, I did remember reading that one.
Yeah, the action sequences look great, but to understand what's going on, it's hard to because they're bringing up things that are happening here, there, and yonder, but they're not actually showing things that are happening here, there, and yonder. So it's very odd. It doesn't have a fluid feel to it, is what I'm trying to bring up.
Yeah, it feels like you have to have read the other Valiant books to understand what's going on in this.
Yes.
So it's not like like, you know, a lot of companies with these big crossovers try to make that a good spot for people to jump on to because they're
Right.
going to promote them. But I wonder how much of that has to do with all the crap that's going on in Valiant right now too. So,
Right, exactly.
so
But the other book that I read was Wind, which is, I believe, Boom Studios did that one. It is a fantasy style book. It deals with the war between the fairies, the vampires, and the humans, but they call them something else in there. I can't remember what it was called. It's a very political type thing on what's going on in there. They're hiding, you know, from the government side, whatever. They're trying to go outside of the borders. But there's a lot that's in there that you have to read to really keep up on. It's a good story. And they're building up to a lot more that's going to happen. It looked like you were going to get a lot of action at one point, and then it just went into the full dialogue saying, we're going to, you know, downplay this right now and do our own thing. You do your own thing, and we're cool. And it went with that. It was kind of a letdown at that point, but it does have the foreshadowing that there's a lot more power in one of these characters than you're seeing. So I'm interested to see how they're going to move on with this and see what's happening. Plus, they introduced the main villain at the very end of this book, which was very interesting because that's a big guy to be messing with. Again, you'll have to take a look at it and see what you think for yourselves and everything on there. But if you like fairy style with fairies, vampires, things like that, it's got all that in there, and it's really starting to build up to a good story.
very cool.
Did we talk about the Judgment Day stuff? Or no?
No, not yet. I didn't get to read them, but if you did, go right ahead. Because I know you're an X-Men guy like I do.
It's been a minute, but so basically, I really don't know what's going. Like, I feel like they had a good premise for this whole event, but I don't know where it's going because apparently the Eternals told the world that, you know, the mutants come back alive, blah, blah. But at the same time, when they die, they take a human life themselves. So I'm assuming the series will come out that every time they die, they take a human life, and there's gonna be a conflict of like which one is the worst, the mutants or the Eternals.
Yeah,
And,
but I think the main gist of it is the Avengers thought, hey, if we bring back this whatever called that they've been living in, what were this? The Celestial that they've been living in, he's going to tell his kids, behave and stop it. But instead, he's like,
is it back alive or is it Tony Stark controlling him?
No, they brought him back to life.
Okay.
And he's like, I give you 24 hours to prove me that you're worth saving. If not, I'm going to destroy the world. So now they're like, crap, we made it worse.
Okay, what about the random humans? Who are they?
Which ones?
The random humans. It's like 7 random humans they talk about.
Oh, I haven't read past issue 2 or 3 of
that. There's 7 random humans. They all got different kind of personalities and
that's right. In the beginning of it, they're showing them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that is about.
Because the Indian Arab guy, whatever it is, he dies and makes the whatever weapon they're using come back alive. Like, because he died, the thing came back alive, so they spent all that time killing it before it come right back alive. And that's right. I do remember that. There's like Eternals, the big Eternal things. It looks like a bull with the flames and stuff. But yeah. Then in the Deadpool mutants, I believe. So it's been so long, I don't know which book's what. The Eternals, it seemed like they finna go flip on the other Eternals and be a
there was some, like, I think Cersei is with the Avengers. And so she's kind of like on Tony Stark and the Avengers side. Because there's a new, the whole thing is there's a new like leader of the Eternals. Druid, and she wants.
No, it's him.
Him, whoever. I don't know. I don't know the Eternals. The Eternals aren't like important to me.
Different than the book. Once again, they do that.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because I don't know, like, what's the point of the event? Because you got some of the Eternals on the Avengers, you got some, with the Eternals, then you got some with the mutants. So, like, who versus who versus who?
You know what the question I have? Where's Miss Marvel side on all of this?
Which one?
The Miss Marvel, because in the comics she's an Eternal and an Avenger, but in the show she's a mutant.
We know, she's an Inhuman, not an Eternal.
Oh, that's right, she's an Inhuman. Well, I get Inhumans and Eternals confused.
But either way, she can't fight unless she has a dope superhero around her.
Damn.
Oh.
Yeah, because that law. I can't wait till they put that law in the movies.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So I'm not sure what books come out this week. I just tried to look, and I don't have a list up yet, so I could pick so we could talk about the books for next week. But anyways, I know. Another thing I saw is if you ever watch Shudder. Shudder is coming out with a TV show called The 101 Scariest Moments in Horror. And that made me start thinking about what is our personal scariest moments of things that we've seen, like in movies or TV shows or video games, or things we've read. And so that got me thinking. Yeah. In politics, I don't know.
Oh, I can already think of something.
But since Joshua is the new one here and the baby of the group tonight, we're gonna let him tell me if he had now an hour and a half to just think of about his scariest moments you've seen in movies or TV or in video games.
As soon as I heard you bring it up earlier in the stream, I already instantly remembered something that I shoved way down because it really traumatized me as a kid. It was like the old Tony Hawk games for the PS2. Now, I know you're like, where's this going? But I'm getting there. The old Neversoft intros with like the eyeball and shit. But the one that utterly scared the piss out of me as a kid was the one where the dude is skating down this alleyway and he stops on top of a manhole cover and like this monster pops out and like drags him kicking and screaming down into like this manhole, and then these bones and eyeballs fly out and the eyeball bounces into the front and it makes the Neversoft logo. I was like maybe 8 at the time when I saw it. So it gave me really bad nightmares for like 2 weeks straight. And I actively avoided manhole covers for probably a good 5 years. Because I would be like walking down to the bus and I'd walk like 5 feet away from a manhole cover and my dad'd be like, "What are you doing?" And I didn't want to explain it at the time.
Yeah, good thing you never seen the original It that 8 years.
Yep.
What I thought you were going to say, Josh, is I can remember another game. Ultimate Spider-Man?
Oh, the little kid where Venom eats the little boy. I remember. I told you I don't want you playing this game no more.
Do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man,
I know,
when you had to play as Venom.
There was that Ultimate Spider-Man game. I think it was on
PS2.
Yeah, I think we played it on GameCube.
Yeah, the GameCube.
And when Venom right at the beginning, like grabs that kid off the corner, I was like, that would not fly in a game today.
I don't know, that Rick and Morty game. It has it.
I guess. Yeah. So Specs, what are some of your scariest moments?
The first one is Sleepy Hollow, the live action one.
Oh, with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, the tree that had full of heads in it. Oh yeah, that messed me up. What's another one? Child's Play. Still never seen Child's Play. I never got past the part when he's speaking his soul into a Chucky doll. That messed me up as a kid. And going to the movie theater to see Jeepers Creepers 2. Basically the whole movie. But specifically him taking his tooth out and throwing it in the star. And when he's a bat wings and tear through the school bus and grab the kids out of the school bus. I was like, man, this guy's invincible. Video game wise, I say Spawn on Super Nintendo. When he's throwing the body parts at you, you gotta dodge it. It was like I think body parts like orphan kids or whatever. That like screwed me up. Any other game things? I don't know. Outlast, and like I can't beat that because it just got too much. Like I'm just not used to playing a horror game with no weapons. I just got a camcorder. That was pretty deep.
Outlast. Now that's a really good game series.
Yeah.
Apparently they're releasing a new one. It's like co-op.
Someone wants to know what the topic is here. Just in case you're just joining us, like this Facebook user, we are talking about this fall. Shudder is coming out with a show called The 101 Scariest Moments in Horror, and I thought we would talk about our personal most scariest moments, whether it be in a movie or video games or things we've read, things like that. So that's what we are talking about right now.
Oh, and also fighting Andros in Star Fox 64.
I didn't think we were gonna get to Star Fox. I didn't think that was gonna be.
Oh,
Yeah,
Andros, the giant
Andros.
floating monkey head. Oh my god! You know what else scared me? Scared the shit out of me as a kid is Dead Hands from Ocarina of Time.
Oh yeah.
Dead
Oh,
Hands
God.
scared me.
Wow, we must be old. See, Joey says movie some weird alien where the pregnant girl has a giant alien thing burst out of her stomach. Game Silent Hill. The Resident Evil book reading the part about the liquors. Okay. Was there anything else, Specs, before I go on my
Speaking of liquors, Left 4 Dead, when you hear the screech and the witch get you.
Ooh. Yeah, and you're like, because like I always play that with my friends, and then I'm like, don't activate the witch, and then I have that one friend that throws a Molotov cocktail at the thing, and I'm like, what did I tell you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, mine I think are more. I think they're in a timeline. So, the thing I remember like scaring me the most when I was a kid. My sister just loved to like torture me. My next older sister. I had 3 older sisters and a younger sister, and we were watching Carrie. So I'm sitting at the coffee table on the floor, and I'm drawing or writing something, and she's watching this, and I don't like horror movies, so I'm not watching it. And she goes, Jimmy, you gotta see this. You gotta see this part. And I look, and it's right at the end when her mother's hand comes out of the grave and grabs her. I swear I had a heart attack. Like I just, like, I about died that moment. I saw my soul leave my body and then come back. Like it's the worst. And then a couple years later, like my sister was big into horror, so she made me and my stepbrother watch Nightmare on Elm Street. Now this is when Nightmare on Elm Street first came on, when it first came on the HBO.
Yes.
And I will say the whole movie But the part that I remember first, the first time you see Freddy and he's walking down that alleyway and his arms are stretched out and he's like on both sides of the.
When he said, "This is God."
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god. So like all that movie, Johnny Depp getting like sucked into the bed, seeing his girlfriend in the school in the body bag, like just that whole movie, just like we sat there with pillows over our face 90% of the movie. I was like done. Aliens, when Aliens came out. Now this is like in the summer when I was younger, I'd always put a tent outside and I'd sleep in the tent all summer in the yard. So we watch Alien. I'm watching Aliens with my uncle. And then I went up to go sleep in the tent. And every noise I heard gave me I had to come back in the house and sleep. I could not sleep out there with hearing all those noises. Like I kept thinking an alien was coming. Along that same lines, when the first Friday 13th I saw was Friday 13th 3 in 3D, when he finally gets the mask. Me and my cousin, I was at my grandma's house. We watched that and we decided to sleep outside. Again, not a smart thing to do after you watch a horror movie. And he has an older brother. So we're out there getting ready to go to sleep, and he comes around, he's like hitting the tent, like walking around, like starts hitting the tent. We're like, what the? And all of a sudden he just reaches in the tent and grabs us by our legs and rips us out of the tent. Like, you trying to kill us. Like, but then as you get, when I go in a little bit older, when I get to video games, Resident Evil, I think it's the first one, when you're going through that room and the dogs jump through the window.
Yep.
Holy Jesus. Like, I'm an adult and I've played that game several times, and I know that's going to happen, and it still gets me every time. It's just like that jump scare.
Was a remake the same experience?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that jump scare. Like, you know it's coming, but it's just like, all right. And this is the most recent one. I mean, I'm sure I've had many, but I ordered lunch today from DoorDash. And I'm sitting here working on something, and he knocks on my door, and I literally almost fall out of the chair. Like,
yeah, he was like, wham, wham.
I was like, Jesus Christ! But yeah, but I'm one of those people I scare very easily. But I love horror movies. I love horror things that scare me. Like I will. Another big one was The Ring. I went to see The Ring in the movie theaters by myself, and the movie itself didn't scare me. But you know, at the end of the movie, and they show you the video. Yep. Right after that, my freaking cell phone rang, and I was done. I was like, no. I'm out.
Paranormal Activity messed me up because I thought it was real. The first one.
Yeah, or like when, what the heck?
Blair Witch. Just the way that they did all the promotion for that. Like MTV did a documentary about those kids and about them finding the footage in the woods and stuff, and everyone thought that was a real thing. It cost them what? I think they said like $25,000 to make the movie, and they ended up the first weekend alone making over $8 million or some stupid amount like that to make up for it. And right after that, when people like me went to go see it opening weekend, is whenever they put that documentary out saying that this wasn't real, this was based on folklore and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, come on. Yeah, because it's just, I mean, that was the first ever like lost footage movie we ever saw, and just the whole like promotions for that, the stuff that they put out. There was another, like, if you got the DVD when it came out, there another place did like almost like a 2020 story on it, and it was just like, is this real or isn't? And it was great because I didn't use any stars. It was always unknown. Now my friend Courtney knew the girl, because she used to be friends with the girl's sister. So she knew, like, but it was just like, so, like, you would never capture that again. Like, that was just insane. So how about you, Phil? What scared the bejesus out of you? Okay, let's see. Starting off, I was around 8 or 9 years old. My cousin, which is 4 years older than me, decided to go ahead and force me to watch Nightmare on Elm Street. So I feel your pain on that one. And they had a big screen. My aunt and uncle actually had some money, so it was cool to go over there and visit and everything. And they had like a 65-inch, whatever, the big. But back then, big screen was, took up half the living room. It was so huge. So if you know about the first Nightmare on Elm Street, the very first scene that's on there, as a kid, you're watching it. As a growing adult boy, you're like, this is the greatest movie ever. And then it goes into the horror sequence, which scars you for life right afterwards, and goes on from there. What's worse is whenever my cousin would go in there, because he recorded the freaking 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, and would play that underneath my door while I was sleeping because I couldn't sleep for as long as he was doing that. So yeah, there's that one. Another one is I'm trying to think. It was The Omen, the original.
Yes.
That boy, I'm sorry, you don't get someone to act like that if they're not evil already. I'm just going to stand by that statement right there. He was not trained how to do that. He did not get lessons. The kid was evil. That's all there is to it.
You're not that good of an actor at that age.
Exactly.
Sorry.
You go watch it right now and go, holy crap, he's right. That kid is actually evil. So that messed with me. Now, as you get older, you pretty much think, I'm Superman now. I'm not going to get scared by anything. James knows how he feels about this. He's mentioned some of his. My biggest one, and I'm going to go ahead and date how old I am in this one because I'm going to name a couple of things that probably people are going to have to look up on Google or whatever after this. Number one, the first surround sound system, whenever you had like 10 speakers that you put around you, that was so freaking
I
cool.
had one of those
with the big receiver, with all the extra stuff you hook up to it, and
speakers that would be up above.
a laser disc. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, laser disc, which is a CD about this big.
It was a silver record.
Yes. I had The Grudge. Wendy talked about this earlier. Here's my stupid self. I put this all together, and whenever we moved into this house, I had this stuff and everything, and I was so proud of myself. It took me almost all day. Hook up the speakers, run the wires, run everything electrical and everything on there. So how did I go ahead and spend my evening? The rest of the family went to bed. I'm in there. Acoustics are great, by the way, in a brand new house with nothing in it. I put the movie on Laserdisc. Exactly. I put the movie on Laserdisc. All I keep hearing is that thing from the, whenever it does that in the attic. What is right above me in the living room?
The attic.
The attic is right there. The little pull down door there.
And it sounds like it's coming from behind you and above you.
Oh my gosh, the surround sound was phenomenal.
Hey, not today, Satan.
Exactly. I put that book down and said, absolutely not happening. We're not doing this anymore. I broke that laser disc in half and threw it away. That's how messed up that was.
This thing is possessed. We're not watching it ever again.
I will admit that. Now, I want to go ahead and
the devil is alive.
Whoever, I want to know, first of all, who is the Facebook user? Because I'm going to answer your question because you wanted to say, what about real life scary moments? I'm going to answer this one. I am a young father. My son at the time is barely even a toddler. I think he might have been 1, maybe just a hair over. So he had all those really cool, toddler toys and really, stuff that makes noise and all that kind of stuff that, your family members get you because they want to,
drive you insane.
Exactly. They want to put you in hell for, quite some time with your kids. So one instrument in particular, he had a piano, a digital piano thing. I hated this thing. You push one key and it just goes and wouldn't stop. So one night, it's in the toy box and it starts going off. And I'm like, nope, not gonna have this. And we're talking about late at night. So I go in there, dig this out, pull it out, and set it out, on the porch. I'm like, nope, not even messing with this. I go back inside and it goes off again. And I'm like, oh, I'm taking care of this. I go out there, I take the batteries out. Take the battery out. I go back inside. That thing starts going off again. No batteries. Somebody explain the physics to me on this one. How something with no batteries can go ahead and keep playing. Because I'm not sure how that works. So that little possessed instrument got thrown into the trash can with some flammable liquid and lit on fire.
They still play the song as it's burning.
I don't care.
And it's like getting slower and more distorted.
So that may have been whenever I got the moniker of Demonville on this one and everything. But that's what happened, and that is my story I'm sticking to. But no batteries should not play. I'm saying that right now. You don't have batteries in it, shouldn't do a thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. When the boys were little, we lived in this trailer. It used to be my parents' trailer, and I just remember that you couldn't run two things. Like if the air conditioner on the microwave, the breaker would go. Like, or if you run the microwave and the refrigerator kicked on, the breaker would go. So when we moved in, I decided to rewire the whole front of the house. Okay, so I go back and I shut off the main breaker. I turn around and the hall light was still on. It's like, nope, I'm not touching. It's like, there's no way that light should still be on. So I had to go out and I hit the main breaker out in the pool. I was like, there's no electricity coming into this house at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. But Joey, this was a real life thing. Joey had said about, I know one for you, Dad, about me and the Krabby Patty. And you know those little gummy Krabby Patties? When Joey was little, I was a security guard and we had to be first responder. We had to take first responder classes and all that. But he decided, he's like, I mean, how old, Josh? 2, maybe?
Yeah, he was just about 2. He was,
because Zeki was only a baby. He decided he was going to try to eat the whole thing at one time, like instead of taking the pieces apart. And of course, it got lodged in his throat. I'm out there talking to my mom in the driveway, and I see my wife has Zeki in her, like, carrying Zeki. Joey's in her other arm. She's like holding onto the door frame of the house, like trying to, like, stop her. I'm like, what in the hell is she doing? So I go up there and she starts yelling, Joey's choking, Joey's choking. So I'm like trying to reach in and grab it. I can feel it. It's like down in his throat. So my mom's calling 911. I'm out there, I start smacking his back, smacking his back. And finally it comes out. So he's like crying for a little bit. Like the scary part of the story was I could feel him like giving up, as I'm trying to get this thing out. Like he's just going limp. He's like puking through his nose. And so I'm like, God damn it. And finally it shot out. And then he goes, like, he cries for a little bit, then boom, he's off running and playing in the yard. The EMTs finally get here. And I'm like, well, he's fine now. He's out there playing in the yard. Like, well, we still have to check him.
They didn't show up until like almost like an hour later.
No, it wasn't that long, but it was like 15, 20 minutes. I was like, good thing I knew what I was doing. I was like, God dang it. How long does it take to get here? But that was Joey's scary story where he almost died. So I guess you can't get much scarier than almost dying. Choking on a SpongeBob Krabby Patty.
It was a crappy day.
Yes. But so it's great. Next, I'm going to try to think. We're going into the spooky season tomorrow, September 1st. I see Walmart already has our Halloween stuff coming out. So I want to find some themes to continue this kind of discussion going forward. Maybe some of our favorite horror things and stuff like that. And of course, we'll be able to start talking about the Pinhead movie, which I never called the right thing. And once we get to October, we're gonna have the 31 days of Halloween, so we'll be able to talk about some scary movies. And that microphone's really driving me nuts, Josh. You know why it's doing that? Because you don't have headset on, so it's echoing from your phone back to you.
Like I just couldn't get it to connect for some reason. I'm
That's
like,
fine.
what am I supposed to do? Like,
But anyways, so come back next week. I'll think of something crazy for us to talk about. I hope everyone enjoyed our personal scariest moments. And make sure you check that out. I think I'm going to check it out when it comes out. I'm interested to see what the 101 scariest moments in horror are. And I'm sure some of ours are going to be on there. I know Freddy Krueger better be. Oh, speaking of Freddy Krueger, there was a new thing about Freddy Krueger. Blumhouse is making a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Yes.
And Robert Englund is going to be in it, but it's kind of like the Candyman sort of scenario where he starts out as Freddy Krueger, but by the end, there's going to be a new Freddy Krueger.
Right.
So they can continue on without him. So that'll be something to see how they're going to handle that transition. But I'm glad it's, they're going to actually have Robert Englund in it and have him hand off the torch to somebody else. And I hope it goes back to the horror part and not so much the campy stuff that they did later on with Freddy. Because the first movie scared the bejesus out of me. But anyways, thanks everybody for coming. Thanks, Josh, for sitting in for Jonathan. I think I told him if he wants to come back next week, he's gonna have to get on his hands and knees and beg me to bring him back. Because he misses more than Phil does. So, that's a problem. But
this is my first time actually being in knowing the streams.
Yeah, this is he was a streaming virgin before tonight. So we broke his cherry. So there you go. We popped his cherry. And now he's like, I'm getting off of here. You guys are talking crazy. But anyways, thanks everybody for sticking around. We had some actual engagement in our chat tonight, which was great. We'd like to have that. So, make sure everyone comes back next week and we don't have a guest so far scheduled for next week. Oh, look, we have a clone Josh. Specs, did you teach him how to do that?
My phone started glitching out really bad.
Specs usually does that, and we will get 2 Specs on the show.
Now, I have some real quick news to go over very quickly before we go ahead and shut it down. Number one, I turned older last week, 49.
Oh, that's right. We didn't get to sing happy birthday to you.
And going with
that's why he didn't show up.
That's why he didn't.
Exactly. And going with the whole horror theme and everybody being scared of things, I got older. So that's scary in itself right there.
Yeah, I'm going to be catching up to you here in a few weeks. So
now another thing, and I'm not going to say that this is getting scary because she's right in the other room and she may be watching or watch this later on, but I also got engaged. So we're going to go with that as a good thing.
Congratulations.
So I will be getting married next year.
And we're all invited.
I am incredibly happy about that. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up is the hell of a show that I used to do back in the day, back several months back. I am bringing back starting next week. I am fully booked up for the months of September and October.
Nice.
So I have opened up a secondary showing of it where I do pre-recorded. So if you're interested in being on there, shoot me a message, let me know. Specs, you're already on that list, and I will be getting with you and setting you up a date on that. So we can talk about your Legacy of the View, because I love that series.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some fun with this. James and I are going to work together on making sure that you all know on my show what we're going to be having on James's show. On James's show, we're going to be having on my show. That way we can kind of expand the network here and see if we can get a lot more eyes involved in the guests that we're going to be having on at different times and the different products that are there. So get ready to have some fun because this is about to get a lot bigger in the process. And other than that, for birthday, I just want to say I don't want gifts. I always have a birthday wish every year. I started doing this 3 years ago. I'm not going to change now. There are certain projects that are out there on crowdfunding. Go find them. Those are the ones that are not quite funded just yet. My birthday wish is to make sure that they are completely funded before the end of this week is over with. So make sure you've got a few more days left on that to make sure that they can get funded. It costs absolutely nothing. Use the power of that finger, get those shares going, and get those things funded out there so that we can keep those artists engaged in what they're doing and keep them with the fire going and the passion they have with what they do. So that
That's
being
good.
said, I just want to go ahead and put that out there.
Well, I can't say anything else. That's perfect. So I want to thank everybody for stopping by. We will not have a Hooligan Alley hangout this week. Katrina will be a guest at the Michigan State football game, and I don't have a guest scheduled anyway. So we'll be back here next week, Wednesday night. If you want to join us live, watch all the craziness, you'll find us here on the Hooligan Alley Hangout, Facebook page, and also at the Hooligan Alley YouTube page. You can join us live, or you can listen to us on our podcast, usually the next day. If not, it's usually maybe Friday. You'll be able to listen to our audio version on any place you can get your podcast. That's iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find it. So, but I hope everyone has a great week. We started in the fall, the spooky season. Can't wait. My favorite time of the year.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's because it's my birthday or because it's scary, or maybe it's all of it all together. And the weather, I like
before we.
Yep, go ahead, Josh.
Sorry, before we close out, next time I pop in, I wanted, since we're going to be getting into like the habit for like spooky month and whatnot, I wanted to talk about Phil Tippett's Mad God next podcast. I think that'd be a really, really good topic to cover next time.
All right. Well, you'd be more than happy to educate our masses on. I'm a big Phil Tippett fan. So it's always good. And Spec says, "Screw you guys, I'm going home."
You guys ain't going home.
But have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you come back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. This is JW signing off. Thanks to Demon Phil, for my son Joshua Sims, and for Specs. I leave early, come late. Thompson. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.